October 2016 meeting of the Lake Forest Parks and Recreation Commission to order. And let the record indicate that all commissioners are present. We're going to make a slight change in the program for the benefit of continued education and getting a proper nights of sleep. We have some presentations. We're going to start tonight with a report from our ACT liaison. You don't need to be afraid. Everybody here has had the rabies shots. Nobody will bite. Okay?
Jim, do you want to tell everyone, since we have some visitors, what ACT is and maybe introduce them, or they can do it themselves?
Well, I'll tell you what. Instead of us doing it, they are ACT. Why don't you tell us what you guys are and what you do?
Well, my name is Jalen Romero, and it is a pleasure to be here representing Lake Forest Advisory Committee for Teens. And ACT is basically a club where we help out in festivals, carnivals, everything that Lake Forest does, and we help out like food drives. We help the need, like people like that. And recently, ACT members volunteered at the 25th anniversary carnival and helped with various tasks, such as escorting nectar, handing out 25th anniversary necklaces, and helping run the teen lounge with fun activities for the community during the event. We also volunteered at Autumn Harvest Festival and helped with game booths, treat stations, the craft station, and selling popcorn. Additionally, the ACT participants volunteered assistance at the game booths during both nights of the city's haunt at Heritage Hill. We plan to continue working on our Earth Day initiative by helping clean the sports park once a month during the ACT meeting. In addition, we have started another service project, a food drive. We have a collection bins located at City Hall as well as the sports parks. We will continue to collect non-perishables until November 11th. The food drive is intended to help those in need for the upcoming holidays. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. An added commentary about this group for their benefit, obviously, and for that of those in the audience. These are young teenagers, and this group has existed for quite a number of years, and they were there. There was this group called ACT, and they had some kids involved in it, and that was kind of about what it was for some of us who've been around for quite a number of years. But in the more recent years, they have become more and more active and more involved in volunteering and helping, not only at city events, but doing things like they're currently engaged in a food drive to help others, which I think nowadays in the world we live in is a fantastic testimony to people and young people doing some of the things that are important for them to do to grow and become leaders and become the future very responsible citizens, not only in our city but in our country. And on behalf of all of us, I'd like to thank all of you for what you do. And Laura, this is part of your group through Monique, and that if you could pass along thanks to her as well for spearheading that group. It's a very, 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 very noble cause. And thank you all. So. Okay, now if you want to, you can go home, do your homework or whatever still needs to be done too. Thank you guys for being here. All right, we're going to go to item 1, which is recognition of some people that are in many ways more than one stars. And they are stars of the silver screen. They have actually, I'm stealing thunder here from somebody on the staff level to kind of make a probably much better introduction than I could.
No, you're all
You want to leave it up to me?
You can do it, but I'm
All right, you're ready. Go ahead.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to recognize the Emmy winners from the TV series Born This Way, actors Stephen Clark and Sean McElwing. On Sunday, September 18th, the television series Born This Way received the 2016 Television Academy Awards Emmy Award. Stephen Clark, along with Sean McElwee, were recognized as part of the Emmy-winning actors and our local community members that participate in our special needs programs. Born This Way is a documentary which chronicles highlights of the outgoing personalities and amazing abilities of 7 young adults who are born with Down syndrome. These Southern California residents pursue their passions, dreams, and explore friendships, relationships in their day-to-day lives. Both Stephen and Sean frequently attend the city's special events needs dances. Congratulations to you for sharing your stories with the world and the recognition you've received from the Television Academy.
Thank you. Well, to add a quick footnote, and Loretta and I have been doing this for many, many years, but to include the other members of the commission, we have had the opportunity to kind of pay tribute to athletes, to academic. Last month we had people who competed in the national science and technology programs, but in 18 years, and correct me if I'm wrong, we've never had movie stars. So it's our real pleasure to come down and present you with some certificates of recognition.
When I was at the tester meeting, they have 3 or 4 cameras.
4? For what?
For their meetings.
What do you mean? 3 or 4 to videotape? Or?
Yes, they've got different cameras, like they show somebody, they have a camera to show somebody at the diner. They've got this.
Huh?
I'm just commenting.
Guess I want to be... Okay. Item 3 on presentations. Jan, are you up? Our report from our senior liaison, the advisory board.
Year, and primarily the most major involvement has been with the concept and design of the new senior center, and it was really a privilege to be involved in that process. And something that someone said to me tonight, you're not only designing for today, you're helping in design for 100 years from now. So it's, the impact that all of us who have been involved with is just terrific, and it's been great, and the city's been wonderful about involving us, so thank you. Another thing that we established this year was the food drive at various times during the year from the seniors. The first one, which benefited the Marines, was quite successful. Jim was shocked. He thought he was going to have a bag of groceries to take down, and ended up with a lot more. So a second is currently being planned. And then also of a major achievement, next year we've gotten the approval to have a senior games in Lake Forest. And our hope for that will be to include everyone 50 and up. So there'll be a variety of games for people of all ages and all levels of performance and physical capabilities. And we're really excited to see how that goes and maybe expand on it for future years. We also have a goal, and Jim will laugh at me, my favorite goal of phasing out some of the things we shouldn't be giving our seniors. The first one is we've agreed to phase out the bottled water right now and instead use water by the glass. That's been approved, and we're waiting to implement that. And also hoping that we ask for an iced tea dispenser and be able to have that as well. And it was recommended that we could move forward with that. My personal goal has always been to provide healthier options for our seniors, and I just read an article this week that said 25% of our seniors have diabetes and 50% have high blood pressure. It would be nice as a city for us not to contribute further to those illnesses, so I continue to work towards that end. We're also hoping to expand the taxi options that are currently available. It's been very successful, and one might include a taxi to the Irvine train station to take advantage of the $10 weekend all-day travel, and we're reviewing possibilities there and hoping to get someone from the Orange County Transportation Authority to come in and talk to us about the train systems and the advantages of being able to use them. It's been approved to add a word game on Thursdays and to challenge a little bit more of the mental functioning of our people, and they can participate or not, and it can be interactive with the bingo and not taking away from the bingo. We also have a Color Me Calm class, which was originally charged. It is now free, and some of the artwork's on display back there. We're going to continue and try to get Saddleback PE classes, which would be free, versus the Irvine classes, which are a charge. It's a problem. It's involving the districts, and how that can happen, we don't know, but we continue striving towards that. We were very successful in getting some of the Saddleback Emeritus classes here, which are full and doing very, very well. We also believe we should begin to discuss programs for the new senior center, start talking now about how to best utilize the spaces. And I read another article that said we should anticipate a 30% increase in seniors over the next 10 years. So we'll be serving a lot more people than we're currently serving, with a lot of different levels of needs. One of the things that I think is we should also start looking at a new name for the senior center. You hit shut up. That doesn't have the word senior in it on the new senior center. And an example in Newport Beach is they call it Oasis, which I think is a warm, inviting name, and so something that would be more inclusive to our 50 to 100-year-old seniors that we have. We should continue to try to establish a list, which we've been unable to do, of all Lake Forest seniors. We have not been able to get that somehow, and it would be nice if we could somehow figure out a way to get that so we could reach all of our seniors here. And we're hoping to get more people involved in the Senior Advisory Board. We have our new election coming up in a couple weeks here, and we've been, so far I think we have like maybe 3 or 4, I don't know how many applications have come in now, but we're hoping to get more people And we're hoping they realize now how much it actually does and how much the involvement is for the seniors. So thank you all for the privilege of helping out here at Lake Forest.
Thank you, Jan. Just a quick comment. I'd like to acknowledge Sandy, the Vice Chair of our Senior Advisory Board, and Betty Atwell, that are right now making up 60% of our audience. But if I exclude Brenda, then they're making up 75% because Brenda is staff. But again, I've had the pleasure, and I know Loretta also has, to attend most of your senior board meetings. And it is as I've commented publicly, but you guys weren't here, it's really phenomenal to see the energy, the passion that you have for the program, and the ideas that you bring in. And as I expressed to them at lunch today, that's where the ideas come from, the users, the customers, those people we saw tonight at the tables with the workshop. And without that, we're all shooting in the dark. So, again, on behalf of us, again, thank you for what you're doing. Big, big thing. Time, we move some things. We also have a part of the agenda that does call for public comments. Since we didn't do the pledge the second time, I just kind of moved on. I guess public comments opportunity for members, a member of the audience, Becky, to, if she would like to be able to speak. I'll do it kind of formally. Carol, do we have any requests for public comment?
I have none.
We have none. Okay. Thank you for reminding me. Becky, I didn't want to, at the end of the meeting, you say, I wanted to say something. So thank you for being here. Appreciate that. Okay? Good. Okay. A repeat customer. Give her a discounted ticket then. Right. Okay. Our next item on the consent calendar is a item related to the minutes of our last meeting in September, which I hope everybody has read. So I was going to simply ask, are there any corrections or additions or deletions or whatever? And if not, I'd like to entertain a motion for approval.
Motion.
I'll second.
So moved and seconded. All in favor? I guess we vote. Yes. Hit the button on the left. Thank you. As
We're easily entertained.
XO, you would say the board is green, right? Right. Just don't get into submarines, please. Tin can. All right. Our next item is something that has been talked about for a while, commission park visits, especially in lieu of the fact that the Park Improvement Program Phase 2 is right before us, and we've talked pros and cons about our involvement in visiting some of the parks, suggesting things with a variety of feedback from the commission. Scott, do you want to comment on it all, or should we just go forward? And
I think you can just go forward, because depending on how the discussion goes, then I might be able to add something.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. I think one of the things that we need to be obviously respectful of are people's schedules, commitments, a bunch of different priorities, and things like that. So without making it a kind of a mandatory thing, which is not the appropriate thing to do here, with going to see these parks. And also, as the fall comes upon us in winter, we're limited by hours of daylight and things like that. So what I would like to put on the table, I would like to put it on the table in the form of a motion, that we schedule visits to the parks, starting with those that are on Phase 2 of this park improvement program, every second Friday afternoon. The reason for being the second Friday after, or every twice a month, is the other 2 Fridays City Hall is closed and staff is not here. And that staff would put together a schedule to visit 2 parks each time, and they would determine a time to start, probably in the early afternoon, and maybe for the duration of an hour and a half to do that. Totally voluntary. Those commissioners that want to attend once the schedule is put out would simply need to notify staff, and we would go from there. Any comment or discussion on that motion, or second, or whatever? I know it's kind of lengthy.
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment. I mean, I went on the last staff-led park tour with Jim before we were told that we couldn't continue with them, and
No, that was Park Safari. That was
No. It was another one where we went to that park up in Portola Hills.
Oh, okay.
Remember?
In Foothill.
You
You're
brought
right.
me Arby's after.
Yeah.
It was a good day.
In Foothill. Yeah.
Yeah, in Foothill.
Yeah. Arby's was right there.
Yeah. I actually found it really useful, and if it's something that needs to be agendized to allow the public, I actually think that might even be better as another community event that we could have. I really enjoyed
it.
it.
It can be agendized
Yeah.
as a special meeting.
That's correct, if I may, Mr. Chair. That's exactly right. So if there are several of you that think you'd like to participate in the visits, we would agendize that as a special meeting. The city attorney has strongly recommended that we take our own vehicles to the parks to avoid the appearance of actually discussing business in a van. So we meet at the park, we would agendize it and notice the meeting just like any other meeting, and members of the public could actually meet us there if there was anything that they wanted to discuss. Yep. And that's how we would do that. And as the chair mentioned, what I would probably recommend is that we perhaps we could start as early as next Friday, and we would do 2 parks per visit until we visited all of the parks. These tend to be the smaller parks, so what we would be doing is basically going as a group and sharing our observations as a group as to what you see at the park, what are some visions that you might have for renovations, and of course, ultimately, we would be consulting the communities that live around those parks, so it might prepare you for some of those conversations. It would be purely voluntary, but we would be happy to notice those as official meetings if it looks as if we would have a quorum.
Okay. In lieu of that, would you like to second that motion, and then we can move forward?
Does anyone else have a
I
comment?
think Loretta might have a comment.
Oh, no one's going to second.
Okay.
Or whoever wants to second. Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll second.
Okay, any additional discussion?
I have a question of clarification.
Sure.
Clarification here. Is that going to substitute for the Thursday night meetings?
No.
Or is this an addition of, or?
This is in addition to, so this would be agendized as a special meeting.
But still on a voluntary basis? Is that what you're saying?
It would be on a voluntary basis. That's correct.
Okay, any other comments, questions, ideas? In that case, I would like to ask us to vote on it. Board is green.
Board
Okay.
is green. I love it.
Cool, thank you very much. All right, our September recreation report.
Good evening. For the month of September, we had a couple great events, including our 25th anniversary carnival. It seems like it was so long ago, but it was just last month.
It does, yeah.
So that was a wonderful event. We had 47 nonprofit organizations bring their people and create some interesting opportunities and getting some recognition out there for them, doing a little bit of fundraising, but mainly a lot of information that went out to the public. So that was great, caused a lot of interest for their organizations. We had about 1,800 people, and they seemed to be having a great time at the sports park. It was nice to have them spread out. It wasn't crowded. It was a free-for-all. They can walk to and from the different booths and the activities that we had going on. And some of the highlights that we had, as you saw, were the pie eating and the watermelon eating contest. That seemed to be a popular area, along with the game booths that we had, the inflatables for the kids as well. So that was a great and popular event. And as you can see later in the report, the numbers for our recreation classes at the sports park have increased. So we have, again, seen a big increase, and you can tell the fall is back in the swing of things, and we're back to school, and we're back to our programming, and the numbers have increased just with the registration that we've had, from August through September. So hopefully that'll continue the trend through the winter as well. And that's my report for tonight. Any questions?
I just want to, of course, compliment you guys. You're doing a fantastic job. Scott's breathing like with a big sigh right there. An idea, if we're going to do a carnival again, San Clemente had a carnival, and they actually included some rides for special needs. Yes. And I was like, wow, that's a great idea. So something to think about. And then I have a contact in San Clemente then. Yeah, it's Bill.
Nick Gates.
Nick Gates. Well, yeah, and Bill Thomas. Well, Bill Thomas is the one who told me about it. Yeah, okay, so there you go.
Laura, one quick question, 'cause I think that's the ACT program is the Teen Lounge, and that falls under you as well. Like everything else, it's growing, it's grown. Now it seems to have, again, reached another plateau, and it's holding pretty firm. My question is, to get to the next level, let's say another 10% increase, that brings us into three figures on a regular basis. What is there, or would it be, let me ask a question differently, would it be worthwhile at least surveying this group that you have right now, and I'm sure out of that that's a core group as well, as to maybe some other things that they would like to see as part of it, that would in turn attract other, members of their age group? Mm-hmm. Would that maybe make sense, or?
We have a continuous, not only a following, but an interest group of instructors that come to us and continue to want to, provide those opportunities for us. And so based on, the people that we get, like, people will come to the front desk and say, hey, do you have a Chinese writing class or something like that, or a Spanish class, or something that we aren't currently offering? Mm-hmm. We can look to other resources, neighboring cities, the school district, things like that do offer those classes, and we could reach out to those instructors. We pretty much have, not to say that we're doing everything and we're done, but we're pretty much hitting our target as far as the needs. We're not getting too many people saying, hey, do you have this, beating backwards class we don't offer. Yeah. But we'd be willing to do it, you know what I mean? And so we do take those inquiries, and we do keep a running list of interest of classes that we aren't offering, and then Monique's doing a great job as far as reaching out to the cities, or, hey, do you know anybody that does this? And
right.
Yeah.
Because I think, and this is from a personal standpoint, seeing the increase of the presence of these young kids volunteering, mm-hmm. doing things like a food drive, a lot of things that weren't done maybe going back 3 years ago and before that, would hopefully be something that more, that's hope springs eternal, that more kids would like to get involved with,
right.
as opposed to just something that with their thumbs and
right,
and
exactly.
a screen.
Yeah.
I know to some extent that's a lost art, but it's always like, is there maybe a way to promote that and to recognize them within the school environment? Do we do that, or can we do that? That other kids at school might say, oh, wow, Joe got some recognition for being in this group, and hey, I'd like to get some recognition. I'd like to do that too.
So, Jim, there's a really great avenue to do that, like at Serrano, for example. They have it's called Good Morning Serrano. It's like a video they do every morning where the kids run it. Mm-hmm. And it's like a little TV show that they do they Pledge of Allegiance, and the kids aren't happy. But maybe we can reach out to them and acknowledge what some of these kids
mm-hmm.
are doing.
Yeah.
I would be curious, just to coattail, I'd love to cut Jim off, but I would be curious what our numbers were, let's say in the last 5 years from September to October, because I wonder if the fall we drop off a little because there's so many sports activities going on, right? Because you get your big sports like your football and your soccer take a lot of the kids. So I'm just curious, because I think Jim's got a good point. What can we do because I'm so proud of those ACT kids. I mean, I think it's so neat to see how they've grown, I think, to Jim's point. We're seeing them volunteering at all these events.
Yeah.
That didn't happen before. And before it was just a place for kids to go hang out. There wasn't much for them to do.
That's all it was.
Now they've got a purpose, and so it's pretty neat. So it might be worth it, I think, especially at Serrano, to reach out to whoever runs that program and just say, hey, can we get a plug-in for these kids? Maybe even throw some pictures at them so they can put them up on the screen, because every kid, their first period, they have to watch the TV, and they go through this whole program. They're always looking for programming. So they might do that because it would be acknowledging their own and be kind of cool. So
Yeah.
You have an ACT student of the week or the month or
Right.
something. Everybody, and I don't care if they're a young pet or a young person or an older person, everybody likes recognition.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know that they do that during the summer programs with the Little Pioneers and the camps that Monique runs. Each week they do like a camper of the week, and so they recognize within each of the programs, not necessarily do they bring it to the school, but they keep it within like the sports park. So the teen of the week,
But see,
Lake Forest Rocks of the week, there's one of those at each one of those.
That's internal.
Right.
Into this
It's
set
kind of,
group.
it's kind of, just to be honest, from the school district side, it's kind of hard to do that unless it's a school program. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like the same thing with the flyers. Like, you can't just bring flyers to them if you're promoting other programs. So it would be promoting
Unless
a
they
different.
approve them, you can. Or has that changed too?
No, unless they approve them, but it's just a different process.
right.
Okay, well, that might be something to figure out jointly, in all of our good minds, a way that we can help them make it their idea, if you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also because the
And it's
ACT,
their kids.
the ACT program doesn't have competition within the school district.
No.
There's not a competing program. So in a way, we're partnering. I think we approach it, we go to the school district and say, hey, we're partnering up with you guys. We're taking these kids, we're picking them up, we're doing this.
Right.
We want to acknowledge their stuff. And so I think that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that's,
No, we could definitely talk to them, for sure. Especially the teen lounge kids.
Great, thank you. Thank you much.
And then the two areas that I was going to highlight for our month was the skate park was once again the winner of the OC Parents Reader's Choice Award. I think this is the 4th or 5th year that we've won this, which is so nice. I mean, it's always great to win the first time, but when you continually win, that means that what we're doing with that age group, that population, is still going strong within the parenting community, which is really, really nice.
I would just add, that's a population that's really difficult to engage, that are frequently not involved in our other programs at the sports park.
Oh, yeah. It's a world in itself, yeah.
And then moving to our seniors, I wanted to highlight we had our 12th annual Senior Resource Fair with about 250 participants coming to it again this year. 25 exhibitors each year. It seems like when I walk downstairs, I think, oh my gosh, it looks great again. So they're always coming up with new ideas, new people coming to do all of the blood pressure testing and all those types of things. So this was another really great one. We partnered with Walgreens again and had giveaways and all that fun throughout the day. Not this Senior Resource Fair, but the last Senior Resource Fair, we had, through one of the screenings, we had somebody find out that they had some arterial heart problems that they wouldn't have found out if they hadn't gone through our screening. So what we're doing is working. If you catch one person, that to me is pretty amazing. So the seniors are doing a great job with that fair. I just wanted to bring up some upcoming events to your attention. The Hallows Eve Bowl Jam is this coming Saturday. If you have never gone to that event, it's very fun to go watch. It's under the realm of Scott this year, as Nick has moved over to the sports park, and Scott is infusing it with some new ideas and new enthusiasm as well, so I'm excited to see what he's going to do differently this year. we have our first special needs game night on October 29th. That's going to be at the sports park, and we have partnered with, I think it's Mod Pizza, who's a new pizza organization here in Lake Forest. That's going to be
What's the name again?
Mod Pizza.
MOD?
Uh-huh.
Next to Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, it's brand new.
Oh, okay, the one that's, okay.
Exactly, and actually they partnered with the skate park as well, and they're doing a fundraiser for the skate park, which is amazing. But they're going to be working with us for the special needs game night to have pizza for our participants, and that's going to be at the sports park. So that will be fun to go watch, and then be involved in. And then we have our resident registration for winter programs November 15th. And the non-resident registration is November 22nd. So we're moving into the winter. Wow, how did that happen? So that's my report for this evening, and once again, we're very happy to answer any questions for you who had those.
To answer your question,
Yeah.
how did it happen so quick?
I know.
Something I remember from a number of years of taking Latin. I have no idea why I even
Yes,
took
it
that.
does.
The saying I remember is tempus fugit and it fugit fast. No.
Right.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
Yes.
Where is the Yakult factory? It's in Fountain Valley?
Yeah, I knew it was on the border of Fountain Valley, Santa Ana, right?
Okay. Okay. It is not far, okay, from that Costco
Uh-huh.
down there. Fountain Valley.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not far from there.
I didn't realize it was so close.
Yeah, it's actually, I pass it when I go up to Coastline.
Okay. Sorry, dumb question, but I just
No,
thought,
not
I
no.
thought,
And it,
where is that?
all the great mini excursions that they find
Yeah.
these locations, you think, how did they come up with that
Right.
idea? We have great staff that does a lot of really good internet search. Yeah,
Okay.
they were.
Yeah.
They were. Yeah. Uh huh.
Thank you, Vicki, and
Thank
thank
you.
you, Laura. Director's report, Scott?
I just have one item, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. At its council meeting of Tuesday, October 18th, the City Council approved a contract with Baxter Miller Landscape Architects. That's to complete the Neighborhood Park Improvement Plan, Phase 2. So that's what we will be studying the 10 parks that haven't been renovated. They've never been renovated, as far as I know, as long as they've been city parks. So that is exciting. In the coming weeks, we'll be meeting with them to develop a preliminary meeting schedule and a marketing plan to get the word out in the community so that we can get lots of folks to show up and give us feedback. And of course, I'll keep the Parks Commission apprised of that schedule.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. Is this the one that we had decided that Whispering Hills would be included in that for them to value it as well?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Okay. We'll go start with our commissioner comments, and we'll start with Commissioner Scher.
Thank you. Couple comments. Last weekend was a very successful weekend at Heritage Hill with the City of Lake Forest cooperating with the Halloween event. Back to back. I mean, you can tell by the music all over the neighborhood that everyone had a good time. And I believe the participation was one of the best from previous events. Is that basically correct? I was conducting some children's tours and other events and watching the amount of work that goes into this to set these things up. And I was just so impressed. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of effort behind the scenes. And the end result was truly a very professional, well thought through concept. And I know everyone had a good time there. I believe the attendance was the highest. Is that basically correct from what I can see?
The attendance was the highest. The haunt had over 2,000 people, 2,056. And Autumn Harvest Festival, I don't remember the number, but I know it was both events had.
And
Yeah.
the person in charge of that was the person that came over from the other
Nick.
venue.
Nick Gates.
Nick. And I saw him there frequently, and he was very hands-on. So kudos to him. for recognizing, I wanted him recognized for a job well done. As a matter of fact, I mentioned to him that I would like to have him invited at perhaps after the first of the year or whenever scheduling permits, to have him address us. I think there was some intent to schedule some of those folks in.
That's correct. I don't remember the exact month, but he's got a presentation coming up very soon to the commission, in the next
Very
month
good.
or two, I believe.
Very good. I'll look forward to that. All right. The busy season on Heritage Hill, as all of you know, is the Christmas season. And in December, I want to make sure that everyone can come the first Saturday and second Saturday of December. If you want to get specific, the 3rd and the 10th.
The 3rd and the 10th. Okay.
Right. The 3rd is the Victorian Christmas, of which I'm going to be emceeing again this year. So there should be enough reason to come by, I would think. And then the following, the 10th, is the Candle Walk, where the park is all lit in candles throughout the park. So there will be some complimentary tickets. I think, Carol, you in the past have always handled that, so I'm assuming that's true again this year. So invite family, friends, and whoever to come to that. There is a fee charged to the public. I think it's $4. I can't remember. $4, okay. A couple meetings back, I brought up a comment of veteran programs, and I want to kind of revisit that just for a moment. The intent is to incorporate some of the veteran programs perhaps into the senior programs, where we could have an event focused on the local City of Lake Forest veterans. By that I mean there's a number of things that can be thought through, like a veterans ball or some type of event that would not only be fun for the community, but also fun for the veterans to be selected out. And now, whether or not this is done on a Thursday or a special event, that's up to you folks. But I like to see the concept presented where we could do that periodically through the year, and to incorporate that into our existing programming. Perhaps at a later time, we can start thinking in terms of maybe having a veteran fair or some kind of activity focused on veterans, the services available to them, maybe combine it with something else. But I'm just brainstorming here for a bit, trying to come up with some creative ways of not only recognizing our veterans, but also make it as an activity. I'm not sure if much thought has been given to that at this point, but I do want to kind of keep it in the front row here. Also, I brought up the fact that at some future time, I'd like to hear more about our grant programs and how the city is handling those into the present and future, whether or not it's something that can be grown or expanded. I realize there's a lot of staff work involved when you're preparing a grant application. I mean, it's not an easy process, but I would like to hear some comments and updates of the thinking of how the city may want to further develop that at some future director's report, perhaps. Okay. There is an event coming up, which I didn't hear announced, but there is a Thanksgiving event coming up on the 18th of 17th, which I have attended in the past, and it's an excellent event. So I encourage my fellow commissioners, if you're available, to definitely participate and make your reservations early on. I don't think I've heard that they're soliciting reservations yet for that event.
Carol, I think you already did at one time.
Yeah, I did that before registration, and you and Loretta and Jim RSVP'd and said they would go.
Yeah.
So,
I think I'd like to hopefully invite all, if all of us can make it. I realize scheduling is always a challenge.
if you two want to go or can go, let me know, okay?
Oh, okay, so we just let you know now, or
No, you already let me know.
I already let you know?
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. Let's see. I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover in my comments. I'm excited the fact that my term is coming up for renewal in February. I have every intent to renew myself. How you like that? In front of the city council. So with the opening of my fellow colleague who opted to do the military thing, so that still leaves 2 openings there. Francisco, if you're successful in your endeavors, that leaves another opening, right? So that I'm looking forward to as well, to continue on with all the exciting things in our agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. Going to the other end, Commissioner XO.
Thank you. I'll try to be quick. Very quickly, Scott, I know we communicated real quick. Will the gym be open on Black Friday? Did we get that figured out?
Yes, yes, it will.
Okay, good. Because that was a last year thing, and thank you for remembering that.
I don't want to sound naive, but what are we talking
Well, so last year, see, my problem is I'm at the sports fields too often, but I had a lot of guys that play basketball, right? And Friday, most folks are off of work, and somebody's out shopping, but somebody's at home looking to go do something. So a lot of guys want to go down to the gym and play basketball, and the gym was closed because it was the city hall was closed. So so I brought it.
It was a holiday.
Right. So I had requested last year that we revisit this and hopefully make sure that it was open, because I think, now watch, nobody shows up and it'll be my fault. But it was just that so thank you for remembering those, Scott. That was the point of this. So I appreciate that.
Sorry, has the decision been made?
Yes. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, it will be open, okay. All right.
And I always have to ask, and Scott usually can't say anything, but I'm going to ask anyway. Any updates on Village Pond?
Yes. It depends what the most recent information that you have, but absolutely. The project is actually out to bid.
Okay.
It's on the website now. It's out to bid. We have a job walk scheduled. I want to say, I forget the exact date, the beginning of November.
Okay.
And we expect to award a contract likely in January, one of the 2 meetings in January. So it is moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and the haunt was unbelievable again. It was my son's whole baseball team went, and I think they tore it up. But they lost Saturday because they were at the haunt too late on Friday night, and so they were undefeated and they played terrible. And so they all said it was because we were running around too much having fun at the haunt. So the Eldora freshman team now can blame the haunt for their first loss. So, but it was spectacular. They had a great time. So, and as Victor alluded to, and I sent out an email to all the commissioners and council so I wouldn't break any rules. I made a decision. As a lot of you know, I volunteer with the reserves, and I had a new opportunity come up this last year for something new the state is doing, and I won't go into too much detail. Well, maybe I'll talk about it down the line in my last meeting. But it came down to I've missed a lot of events that I don't normally miss, and in the last year, and because of drill weekends and so forth, I actually missed my one and only commission meeting this year because of it, and for annual training. And so I did make a decision, and it was a very hard decision. I thought long and hard all summer about it, because I love being up here with you guys, and I love the city staff. I love being up here, part of what we do. As I tell everyone, I'm not a big fan of going to the events and saying, "Oh, look, Commissioner Workmeister's here, yay!" But I love to do the work that we do here, and we get this. And it has just been such a privilege and an honor to be with all you guys. And you're stuck with me till they throw me out, until someone else is here. But I wanted to put it out there. I wanted to get it in front of the election, so there was no foolishness. I didn't want any leverage out there. But it was a terribly, terribly difficult decision. I'll probably still show up here on Thursdays. I might even do public comments. So, but I just want to thank you guys. All you guys have been fabulous, and I'm going to miss seeing you here. And I want to thank you guys, and thank you all for letting me be part of this. So, thanks very much.
Commissioner Ross.
Now that I'm all bummed out,
I went out when you read the email.
opening up wounds. I went to the 25th anniversary carnival. I thought it was amazing. I loved how open it was, the full use of that field. I mean, it felt a little empty, but as hot as it was, I think that was really good. And I think the reason that it was probably didn't feel like that many people is because it was a good flow throughout the day. So the only thing I would hope is that if we keep doing this, that, you know, as it becomes more advertised, more people show up. I did notice there was the parking situation right there behind the tents. That poor chamber volunteer, she was being battered by cars she would tell them to stop, and then all of a sudden they would see a parking space and they would zoom around her. And she was standing there the whole time, so maybe just see if we could do something to cone it out better so that someone doesn't have to be there unless someone's coming in that's scheduled. I went to the Harvest Festival. That was super fun. It was so cute. I just felt bad for some of the characters that didn't have like the displays, like Pocahontas. I wasn't sure if I could take a picture with her or not, so I just avoided. I didn't know if it's just a person in costume or not. The only thing is I noticed that the ground was a bit hard in some places to see, so I noticed some people tripping over things like sprinkler heads. I noticed at least one that I saw was broken and tripped over. The poor dad just like screamed out, so maybe just...
Halloween.
Halloween, so maybe it was the sound effect and he didn't do anything. I did not go to the haunted thing because, I'm not going anywhere near that. Yeah, the clowns, I can't. No, I couldn't even look at the Facebook post. And then the other night, I just wanted to bring this up. I had a good conversation, as I'm sure some of you have, with Becky over here in the audience about making our programs more inclusionary. And I think that's a natural progression that we're going towards, seeing as how our special needs programs are starting to ramp up. We're starting to recognize, that part of our population that I think should be recognized. So I don't know how we could do it to where maybe she could sit down with staff and maybe work out a way to where it could be agendized and a formal presentation could be made, or have a way for us to be able to discuss how that would work. Or I know it wouldn't necessarily be just like, make every single class inclusionary right off the bat, because that would be probably cost prohibitive, but see how we could do that over time.
Actually, that is our goal, is to make every class and every activity as inclusionary as possible. Mm-hmm. I think that we have a lot of areas where we can improve as far as our marketing and getting that message out there. Mm-hmm. I think that we can improve in the area of staff training and making sure that our staff understands all the different ways to do that.
Right.
I think that there's room for improvement.
Yeah. So, I'm always open to community volunteers coming out and showing us how to do it properly. There's always people who are experts out there, and if they're willing to help out, I think that'd be something amazing that we could do. So, I'm looking forward to seeing how we could move forward with that. So, just wanted to include that in my comments. And, I'm done.
Thank you. You? Yep.
So I had the privilege of attending the Senior Resource Fair. That was fantastic. Of course, the carnival. I love that you had a Western band.
Yes.
We need to work on our country line dancing, though. I also attended, there was a Baker Ranch Vista, and they called it their swim club. Yeah. Well, I didn't know. I went. It was very nice. But so anyway, there you go. I show up for everything because it was educational as well, because I got to see their swim area. It doesn't look as big as I think it should be, but they assured me it was. So there you go. I love going to the Senior Western Dance. That's always so much fun. And then I had made sure I had to go to Bunko as well, because the seniors told me I had to show up, and that's always such a good event. Everybody loves it. Loves it. And then I went to the Harvest Festival. That's for the younger kids, and they had the best costumes. I swear, we talked about that. I'm sorry, I did not make it to the scarier part, but I have a good excuse. I give you my California Commissioner update, is they had an educational trip that week. And I caught the tail end of it. We caught up with them at Ridgecrest. So on Saturday, we went out to China Lake, and we saw the Indian petroglyphs, which was amazing. We had a private guide that explained all of it to us, and everybody was helping each other climb over the boulders and the rocks and everything. But it was really it's a very good trip. And of course, overall, I'm sorry I couldn't do the whole week, but they went to Riverside. They had lunch at the Mission Inn. They had a tour there. They also went to some citrus. I have the agenda name, but if anybody wants to know what all they did. But they did a lot. They went to Palm Springs, the Home and Yard. And then speaking of the California Commissioners, just to let you know, they do have, we've come up with, they're calling it a member grant if you need help, people want to attend the conference. I know we're lucky that we can do that, but if anybody else in other areas or that want to go that are having financial problems, there is a grant available. They just apply for it online at the California Association of Commissioners and Board Members. And then also, it's now time for awards applications with them as well through CPRS. So same thing, just go online and apply for that. And I think last year we won for
Dino Days.
Dino Days. Yeah, so that was really nice. Let's see, what else have I got going on? So that's where I've been, and that's where I was busy with that. We also had another meeting, too. I was talking to someone yesterday at the candidate forum, and they were wondering why only nonprofits could use rooms at the sports park. And I was...
That's the policy that the City Council adopted. Nonprofit organizations and local businesses.
Okay. Well, I knew...
Part of the reason is that if we allow the public to use those for social activities, we would be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And we would lose all of our programming space.
Right.
But that is the purpose of the new community center that we'll have with the Civic
Oh,
Center.
okay. All right. Okay, well, that's good. So, because I said, anyway, so I'm glad you refreshed my memory on that. Thank you for that. And that's about it. So I've been a busy gal, too. So there you go. So thank you, and of course, thanks to staff. Everything is always so much fun, and we have a lot to do always. Anyway, there you go. Thank you.
Need another breath? Or?
No, I think I'm good. I'll take another sort of water.
Okay. Just listening to the comments of my colleagues here, I think one of the classes we need to sponsor is a anti-angst from clowns and haunted houses class that we probably could get thousands of people to come and attend, and our events would increase by thousands more. Let me start kind of out of order with both of those. It was very obvious they were better attended than some in the past, and there's just a number of people that were there, both very, very well done. I ran into both ran into Nick and his wife at the second weekend at the haunt, and we just gone through the maze, and I noticed that, to me, some of the characters that were there, kind of something that just didn't make sense, or didn't seem right, and but their outfits and their demeanor, it was like The Walking Dead. That part was like great. So I asked Nick, I said, where did you get these people? I said, they were really phenomenal overall. He started laughing. He said, yeah, most of them are staff. And at which point my wife, or as I call her, commanding officer again, kind of looked at me and said, well, couldn't you tell that a bunch of them were waving at you? Okay, that's what they were doing. I no idea, but they were very, very good, and I think some of them could have a future in show business. But the events were great. Again, you get that kind of ambiance of people having a very, very good time and enjoying what they're doing. And again, it's a tribute to the work staff does. I mean, at the bottom of all of these positive comments is the fact that our staff and the management of the staff and everything is just really super. Carnival, great. I'd like to propose that we do it every year, but, that may kind of weaken it or cheapen it or something like that. But I, again, would like to maybe see us do it, the next great event will be 5 years, the 30th, maybe somewhere in between, and not necessarily just having to tie it to the anniversary, but in a couple of years to do another one, because, again, new. For the first time, I think it was well-received. The second time, it'll be better received, because now people get accustomed to having something like that. And again, all of these events, a lot of work went into them, and it's really, really appreciated by the people. Senior dance was, I think, one of the better ones this time. How much better can you do but have a country DJ with the name Houston, who is long, tall drink of water, plays country music, sings to it, and does line dancing. So, phenomenal. And Loretta was in absolute heaven because it was line dancing and country music. And again, so were a lot of the seniors. They did a great job, and the group of Marines that came for that one, all of them seemed to be able to line dance, especially one young guy. Yeah, all of them without a lot of the pre-instruction. There was one guy, he was from New York, and he needed a little bit more. Then we had another one who came in complete, like, cowboy dress, big hat and everything, who was from Indiana, and he kept claiming, I don't have an accent. And all the other Marines were laughing at him. He got an accent. So I asked him, I said, what part of Indiana? He said, well, I'm about 20 miles from Kentucky. I said, Kentucky kind of crept into your town one night. And I stopped at that point. So, but no, they had a great time, and they all loved the line dancing. So, I think again that's another possible opportunity to do, not only for seniors, but, and I know Loretta has been on the line dancing gig for how many years? Can we say? Years. Worth considering. There's instructors around. I can give you some names through Big Shots Billiards that actually do that. They come out and instruct, and they're pretty good. Read notes here. I can't.
Lessons in medical notes, too?
Do I take lessons in medical notes? No, they were pre-law. They're just as bad. Park tour, again, commissioners, thank you for helping move that forward, and Scott will look to, to staff to put something out. We can start the 28th. That would be great. Get it on our belt. 28th. I think volunteered to say start the 28th.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Correct.
Okay.
What time?
Check on my calendar.
Yeah.
I will likely send out an email with the schedule, but I'm thinking maybe 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock? Sure, 2 o'clock? Okay.
Okay, good. Kind of, again, to comment on the senior board and Jan's report, it's a very active group. They got some great ideas. I had the opportunity today to, at lunchtime, either go and see Mimi Walters if she ever showed up, or whatever the other one's name is. Lisa Bartlett, thank you. I somehow want to call her Gina. I don't know why. Or to, Brenda and I had talked about that, come to the senior luncheon here and do some stand-up comedy with them about getting some more people hopefully enthused in applying for the advisory board positions. And one had to do with Lake Forest, and two, I wasn't that hungry anyway, so the choice was a pretty easy one. So I enjoyed that opportunity, and I think we tonight picked up another one just who was here at the workshop, and I think there's one or two that were at the lunch that kind of indicated they had an interest, which is cool. I personally also highly endorse the point we need to find a name for the senior center that does not have the word senior in there, or old, or aged, or geriatric or multi-generation or whatever. They have an oasis in Newport Beach. Maybe we need to have a flamingo or something in Lake Forest. But maybe, I've even thought of, would it be possible to have a contest? Something where the public, the senior contingent could suggest it. It's their center. And we have some kind of a nice dinner prize for it or something, not huge, as a thought. Things to start thinking about now, because when it opens, at that point we want to be able to put the name on the door. So something, is that within the realm of feasibility, or?
It is. We have not gotten that far as the planning, but
Yeah.
eventually there will probably be some kind of a focus group or some kind of discussion or contest with the seniors to do exactly what
Yeah.
you're suggesting.
And maybe, at the next senior board meeting, they can kind of get their arms around it with some ideas, and then, not too far away wouldn't be good if we did it now, and it's 2 more years till it opens and forgets, but kind of work towards it, that create a little excitement when it gets closer, that now they can get involved in naming their center, because I think we need to look at it, is the senior center, and they should have the kind of the King's X on it. A couple of things another thing Jan mentioned, getting this list of seniors seems to have been a challenge. It was another resource fair. It wasn't a senior resource fair. It was one before. It was special needs resource fair. I spoke with, it was from the county, I can't remember, I've got a card somewhere, with what they did, and it was like, no problem, we can get you any of those lists you want. Okay? Senior lists, we can get you special needs list. Great, here's my card, here's my phone number, my email. Can you contact me? Vicki, when was that last fair? It was a special needs, I want to say. Was not senior. Before that. How long ago was that? May. Okay? Good thing I don't hold my breath, because I never heard back from her. Okay? If they have the resources, I think we should, as, staff, or, we have the right to do it. I don't mind calling her back and kindly asking her for that information, to contact them. If they claim they have it, why would they not want to send it out? I mean, I don't understand, people who operate that way, that they give you the good face and then, oh, okay, I'm not going to do that, But seemingly there is a source for it, without going to the other source of specialized mailing houses that exist out there, from the standpoint of having, literally, you want a list of everybody with a blue right eye and a green left eye or something, yeah, we can give that to you. They have those databases and things like that. But those are, somewhat costly. This is a public agency. We are an agency. I can't see why we couldn't, somehow work, why they would be just ignoring a request to do that. So I'll look for the card for the department, and I'll get it to you. Maybe you could, because that would be a big help in, making some decisions. How many seniors do we really have? How many in what age brackets? What are the, what are the needs and things like that when it comes to programming of the.
Just so that I'm clear, though, are we looking at that information as statistics to look at moving forward into the senior,
Yeah, I
the
mean,
senior
but yeah.
center? Okay, that's,
Yeah,
I just
and I
wanted
think
to,
that's what
yeah,
Jan was alluding to also, to have this database
so that we know. Okay,
of, call it knowledge, that we really don't have
Right.
right now. What's really out there?
right.
We know our core group, we know a lot of things. We have no idea what the total population is. And, is the population right now all 65 and above, majority of it, or is it 50 and 65 and above is 18%, or which in turn would gear our programming, I would think, because if the majority of it is of a certain age bracket, you want to program with an emphasis on that as opposed to something else. Which leads me to something that I agree with, but I think Victor, with his thoughts about the veterans and related issues, that is the ultimate challenge, to be able to do anything there, because they are so fragmented and so, I'm going to use the word unorganized, because they have some websites and some state organizations and that, but even the local, we don't have them in Lake Forest or in Mission, American Legion and VFW really have no idea of, except if you go on Friday nights to the bar, then, and get those people, it's a social thing, then you can get, but organizationally, they may have some names and things like that. Also, from the standpoint of doing some things for them, and Victor, I hope I understood you right, like a resource fair, if you kind of mentioned it, for veterans and services and things like that. I hate to say it, but we as a city, I don't think, are really well equipped to do that. The state doesn't even do it in any way, shape, or form, except some very few mental health programs. That really is more under the auspices of the federal government. And again, depending on the outcome of the election in November, the whole Veterans Administration concept, programs, and funding is going to change one way or the other. The worst thing, or the best thing you could do would be status quo, that nobody would change it. But based on who comes in and the expressed views, will have some kind of effect. So, as great as it sounds, as much as I'd love to see it, I don't think that it is something that a city can take on. And then, because then you get other people who, what do we do? Only residents can do this, and that's huge funding that I don't think, we would have. But, to do other things from a standpoint of trying to get them more involved, I would think the natural avenue would be within the senior program, because there are events there that, there are quite a few of them that are veterans that are already participatory, but that would be the natural, probably, age group to gravitate them into. And then maybe from that see if there's interest in doing like a local veterans club, or something like that. But I think as a standalone thing, it'd be real tough to be able to do that. Last but not least, Senior Resource Fair was very well done. Again, well attended. The only, and I don't know how you tell somebody who wants to come, it's their business, they're the resource provider and things like that, but especially those that are governmental or quasi-governmental agencies that show up, not only at our events but others, really need a course, and it used to be in the private sector, it's called Boothmanship 101A, where you do not sit on a chair and somebody walks by and you don't even look up and, here, take this. And as opposed to people who are engaging the people, being up and on front of the table, front side, and talking to them. I don't know if, the proper protocol would be that we could suggest that if they do come, just to kind of give them a guideline on, and to write, ask them, please engage the public, please, eye contact, little things like that, because, corporate world and trade shows and it's like a must. If you don't do that, it's like, next time you don't get to go to Paris and eat shrimp and do whatever. You get somebody who will stand up and will talk to people. So I think it would make it better. And typically like I said, the quasi-governmental government agencies are the semi-worst, and just kind of sitting there and not really. And a lot of people are coming through are, as we know, it's a problem with our seniors, especially being afraid to talk to people or getting them to open up on their end. If somebody opens up to them, it's a lot easier probably to get them to open up. And hearing what you mentioned, Vicki, tonight about a resource fair potentially saving somebody's life, it's good stuff, mean, it'd be nice to have more of that. Without further ado, for tonight, I think, again, I would like to thank staff for everything on an ongoing basis, and always knowing there's be more to come, and the standard of excellence that does exist. To XO over there on my left, Godspeed. Going to miss you, you know that. But like I told you before, I totally respect your decision. I commend you for your decision. I think seeing somebody willing to kind of show the flag, if I can call it that, you know, put on the uniform and do things like that is a very noble effort. And you know, I know it was a hard decision, but I won't say you made the right one. So thank you. And without any other further comments, anybody, I will adjourn our meeting.